Coming up on Look Today, well, Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul attended a press conference today at the Glens Falls Civic Center, and she spoke on the recent State of the State address. And I've got details. And the famous Stanley Cup was on display at the Queensbury Hotel in Glens Falls. More on that coming up. And HVCC's TechSmartt held a panel today in Malta. I've got those details, and it's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm Jay Hood Jackson and this is Look Today. On tonight's program, I sit down with Morgan Burnett and Kevin Box. They're here from the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and they're going to discuss a very unique fundraising event that's coming up. I also sit down with Anthony LaPointe. Now he's a CEO for Parks Heritage Federal Credit Union. He's here to talk about the major differences between for-profit and not-for-profit financial institutions. Plus we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties. But first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul attended a press conference today at the Glens Falls Civic Center. Now, she spoke on the regional implications of Governor Cuomo's state budget and his State of the State proposals. Now, one of the most defining pieces of the legislation of Cuomo's 2017 agenda is making all SUNY colleges tuition free for the middle class. Now, also, part of his agenda is helping the middle class economically by doubling the child care tax credit. Now, we were at the press conference today where we spoke to the Lieutenant Governor.
So this gives me a chance to showcase within the context of this specific community in this region some of the priorities of the governor. That's what a budget is. It's a statement of our priorities as a people. It's the governor's seventh time going around with this. And also to talk about the budget. So you'll be the very first in the state of New York to hear the additional budget presentation, which was literally announced last night at midnight.
Wow. All right, in other news, the famous Stanley Cup made an appearance at the Queensbury Hotel in Glens Falls. Now, the story of the cup begins in 1892. Lord Stanley of Preston, who was at the time was serving as the governor of Canada, purchased a silver bowl. It measured about 7.5 inches and 11 inches across. Well, since 1893, hockey teams all across North America have been competing for the right to win that cup. Now, believe it or not, there are more than 2,200 different names engraved on the cup, including players, coaches, and owners of the cup-winning teams. Well, as you can see, we were at the Queensbury Hotel where we spoke to Tyler Herrick. He's the general manager.
Very excited to have the ECHL All-Star Game here in Glens Falls. It's great for the community. We've already seen a slight uptick in our business levels, but the biggest thing for us is to have the opportunity to have the Stanley Cup itself in our lobby and have the community very accessible for them to come in. They've been here since 1 o'clock this afternoon, and just coming in to see the Lord Stanley's Cup, and it's just an exciting thing for us to be a part of.
It was really something to see, and rumor has it that someone actually tried to pick it up so they could read the names on the cup. That did not go over very well. All right, switching from news to weather, it was ugly. A night of freezing rain, sleet, it was amazing out there. The temperatures remained in the low 30s, so of course it was very icy. Let's see how the rest of the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thank you, Jesse. Time now to jump into the first look forecast. I'm your meteorologist, Brandon Boucher, and right now we have high pressure down the south, but some lingering moisture behind that last low that pushed through last night, bringing us some snowfall and then some wintry mix throughout the daytime today. Will continue to be a pesky factor before high pressure can work back in and take control. But as we take a look at the zoomed in view, you can still see temperatures tonight expected to fall around or below the freezing mark. 29 Burlington, Albany 33, Boston 32, with a little bit of patchy light moisture out there. We'll continue to see some of the freezing drizzle, a patch of sleet or a patch of snow or two will continue to be likely as we head into early evening hours, then start to clear back out as we push towards midnight, but that'll keep the cloud cover around 28 degrees for the overnight low. Our highs climb up about 10 degrees tomorrow. We'll see a little bit of sunshine, still a pretty relatively milder day upcoming, and then we'll see some nicer weather upcoming even further ahead towards the weekend. As we get out and about tomorrow, we're going to want to still bundle back up. We'll see wind chills back back down to about 24 degrees. Some sunshine. It'll still be about 27 to 30 as we step out the door tomorrow morning. We're going to see high pressure work back in. Stretch of 40s taking us through the next 5 days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, including a decent amount of sunshine as we head into Monday and Tuesday. That's when we're going to see some more showers move back in. In fact, could see some more heavier rain as we head into next week. Well, that's it from me in the First Look Weather Center. Now let's get back to you, Jesse.
Thanks, Brand. You might note there that we've started a new feature inside the weather. Giving you the report for early morning tomorrow morning. And we're doing that because the weather's been very tricky in the morning. And when it's hovering around the freezing point, all this rain just turns to ice. So you'll keep an eye out for that in our weather report. Back to the news. Well, Hudson Valley Community College's TechSmartt in Malta held a panel this morning. It focused on education's role in developing entrepreneurial and innovative skills in today's business climate. The panel included some of the community's business leaders, and the panel was moderated by Lauren Logan King. Now, she's the assistant superintendent of the Ballston Spa School District. Well, we had a chance to speak to her about the event.
I think that the importance of having a panel discussion such as this, the innovation, entrepreneurship ecosystem, is really developing out the idea of a whole network around our region of entrepreneurship and innovation.
Now, as you know, we're very involved with TechSmartt and that initiative at the campus. So we're going to have a follow-up on the story tomorrow when the 11th and 12th graders of the program present their solar, micro housing, and smart growth projects. Hope you got that. Up next, I sit down with Morgan Burnett and Kevin Box. Now, they're here from Muscular Dystrophy Association, and they're here to discuss a very unique fundraising event coming up. Plus, I also sit down with Anthony LaPointe. He's the CEO for Parks Heritage Federal Credit Union, and he's here to talk about the major differences between for-profit and not-for-profit financial institutions. It's a very informative interview. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Well, you can. Call us on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. I've got a couple of lookouts. Obviously, the weather messed everything up, so tonight you won't be seeing a new Saratoga City Council meeting. We just could not get to the meeting last night with the weather. Also, another casualty is our friend Chuck Vaskanyan, who runs the Rockmont Record Club, had to cancel their event last night. The Rock Club does a look at a bunch of rock albums, and last night it was supposed to be Deep Purple, but it is tonight, so if you catch an early broadcast, you can catch it tonight at Universal Preservation Hall. Also, looking ahead, Mayor Joanne Yepsen will be in on Friday, so we can catch up on some of the things we might have missed at the council meeting last night, but also probably a preview of the State of the City address, which is coming up. And last but not least, the Lake George Association contacted me today about safety tips for people and ice. And they were saying that for people to be safe on ice, it's about 4 inches. If you're snowmobiling, about 6 inches. A friend of mine who shall remain nameless, Sonny, likes to take his snowmobile over open water. That's another story. 12 inches if it's a car, and 15 inches if it's an SUV. Well, based on this weather, who knows when we're going to get ice, but please keep that in mind and stay safe, all right? Well, tonight on Look TV, it's a Saratoga City Council meeting, the one from last week. Don't forget, tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.